let's talk a little bit about Tumbleweeds. This is a very important novel, too, in that it takes a young, very talented writer, Manny Kohl, and it puts him at the front. It's rotating between three different perspectives, between Manny Kohl's friend Wub and what was Link?
Mm.
Yes, Link, and they go in and out of character and transition kind of seamlessly. You get the each of their perspectives, and you and they're very differentiated. Sometimes a little bit of the higher slips into Wub and Link, but only every so often. That's probably later in your development you would have removed some of the poeticisms that the two lesser characters had. But this has been attempted before, for instance, in The Tree Grows in Brooklyn, but I don't think you've ever really conceived of in all of literature a very talented writer, or potentially very good writer, and made him a great character in that sense. He has moments that only great artists would really have. Although when I first read this, I thought that he would succeed in a lot of his aims, but you kind of changed the narrative on that too. He's not nearly as successful, and he's punished for, as you said, his insolence later in Norwegian for Tumbleweeds and Vincetti Brothers.
I don't know if I would say that Manny Kohl is portrayed as a great writer, because even though inside of A Norwegian in the Family we got that book, it's always being written by Dan Schneider, and so there's that constant play because a number of characters, and even in this spy book, I have characters say, I think Bit von Rheingold talks about a Norwegian. He never names the book A Norwegian in the Family, but in one of the scenes, I think he talks about something. Well, one of the characters talks about being written up and someone investigating his life or whatnot. And Manny Kohl is called a hack writer. He apparently writes for us like an alt news weekly kind of thing for most of the book until he's hired by, in the, you haven't read it probably, 64. We find out why he writes the way he does, or why he's interested in these things. And I could tell you why, but I'll let you find out yourself. But so I'm not certain that we can say that Manny is a great writer. He claims to be, but is he really just taking on the Dan Schneider mantle?
Yeah, there's an allusion to the three boys who supplant Manny and his
Yeah,
fort later on with the little boy with glasses and blonde hair. He
yeah.
was definitely alluding to. Plus, the ending kind of pulls the rug out at the end, where you don't know whether Manny Kohl is really a conception of you or anything of that manner. But you get what I'm saying, though. It's taking the higher things in life and putting them there.
Yeah.
Francie Nolan, while she is probably going to end up being a good person, she doesn't really have any kind of higher implications. The frame of A Tree Grows in Brooklyn has a grandiosity as well as getting into the depth of the lowness of some of their lives, but it never really reaches to the higher, where Manny Cole often consciously does. And there's a great moment when Link is killed where he relays the information to Wub, and it's kind of evokes that cries and whispers scene in Ingmar Bergman. That wordless scene where they they're reconciling,
Mm.
and that's one of the only successful scenes in that film. But it evokes that, but it does more too.
Mm. Yeah, I think I think Manny is certainly an interesting and a great character, but ultimately he's probably someone who is a fraud. He's someone who is sort of me if I didn't have. He's not. He's a less ethical version of me, in the sense of how he's a poseur in a lot of ways
Yeah.
too. We don't really, I don't think, know how much, if any, is he really a writer of any consequence or whatnot? That's the constant question, within certain levels of the book. If we accept that Manny wrote the Norwegian in the Family within A Norwegian in the Family, then he's certainly a great writer. But all the time we know, even from Tumbleweeds, that I'm the one. Well, the written Dan Schneider is pulling his strings just as I'm pulling the strings of the written Dan Schneider.
I think you're still just sore at him for his insolence.
Mm.
But that's an interesting point, avoiding all jokes, because some of the other characters, they'll talk about what a brilliant mind man he is, but yeah, he does have implications towards hackdom later in his life, even as he may have early in his life some inclinations towards good artistry.